Hey everyone, Adam here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we got an absolute doozy. We're going to be covering the story of a brand that went from zero to over $300 million a year and just grew extremely quickly. We're going to cover their full story, them even getting acquired, hiring a CEO for it and growing like crazy after that. We're going to be covering their site and CRO. We're also cover their marketing and also cover also the 3 most viewed ads that they've ever had to date. But yeah, stay tuned. This is going to be a very value-packed video. I learned a ton just doing a ton of research. It took me over a week researching all of this, putting this all together. So drop it a thumbs up, if you're going to enjoy this content. Let me know if you like this kind of video down below. And really quickly, if you haven't heard of me before, my name is Adam Matthews. I've been in the e-commerce space for over 7 years and run an e-commerce growth agency called Ecom. We're partnering with brands and helping them grow their revenue. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Now, to drumroll and reveal the brand, it is Solo Stove. Now, you may or may not have heard of them before, but they do incredibly well. And we're going to dive into the entire story. So let's get into it. So basically, it was started by these 2 brothers, Jeff and Spencer Jan, back in 2011. And what's interesting is they basically were selling multiple different products. Their philosophy was they just wanted time freedom, and they wanted to get like 10 different brands that did 100,000 a year. And so they launched a bunch of different products and all that kind of stuff. And basically what they were looking for their products is they always wanted something that was high value, not like overly seasonal. That way it was super consistent throughout the year. Something that would ship easily, wouldn't break, something that wasn't just overly complex. And so they started, with this one here was with a camping product. And so basically it was camping stoves, and it was, small, compact, it wouldn't break. And this is actually the original product that I had, which is a very small camping stove, that they created. And basically it was a double walled stove. And what's interesting is they literally, in order to create it, essentially, they were literally looking up DIY stove setups on YouTube, kind of researching around, kind of figuring out, testing different things themselves. They weren't thinking about making something that was like super revolutionary. They were just kind of making something that was like just a better mousetrap for when they're just out there and camping and all kind of stuff. And also in terms of getting a supplier, a big thing is that, manufacturers generally don't want to work with a startup, because why would they work with a startup when they could just work with, another company that's just doing so much volume, and they'd rather just, serve those kind of customers essentially. So they wanted to make something that was unique rather than, source just a standard stove from a supplier. And that way the supplier is way more willing to work with them. But it actually took them like over a year. This was the hardest product for them to put together and develop and kind of create. It took over a year. So it really goes to show it's just a higher barrier to entry for other competitors to come in after it's set. And they spent a year kind of creating this product. So that's kind of really something to note, a little lesson there as well. And yeah, they wanted to, evoke emotions on the site. They made the site very beautiful. They got it started on, they were getting on Amazon. And then basically their first year was about $500,000 in sales. So pretty decent start. And it was also very high margins too. They had about 80% gross margins. So things were going steadily, smoothly. I think they were running some ads, they were doing SEO, they were on Amazon, and they were kind of growing kind of nicely. And then basically what happened is they also ended up launching a Kickstarter in around 2014, so about like 3, 4, or 5 years in or so. They launched this Kickstarter for another product that was more just a bigger stove, because they just got some feedback from the customers. And so they ended up launching that. And that was a huge success. Basically, the reason why they wanted to do this as well is they wanted to they were a little bit nervous about launching a Kickstarter, because they didn't want a bunch of competitors coming in and knowing how much money how much revenue they're doing, all that kind of stuff. But basically they wanted to sell the business at a certain point, because what ended up happening is they ended up getting more and more busy, and they were getting super slammed. And for them, the reason why they started the brand is they wanted the time freedom. So that was the biggest thing that they wanted. So these 2 guys just really valued just time freedom and all that kind of stuff. But as they had these multiple brands that they're running, and things were getting busier and busier, and they never wanted to hire anyone. So that was a big thing for them. They never wanted any teams. They just didn't want to do that. They wanted to keep it very lean. And so that was kind of their philosophy. And so what ended up happening is, because they wanted to sell it, They ended up launching on Kickstarter to try to get some retail attention and also launch a better product and start growing. Because what happened is they basically went around 2016 when they wanted to sell, they got offered a very low 7 figures, even though they were doing about 4 to 5 million a year in revenue with over $1 million a year in profit. They're like, yeah, this is a great company. We're doing, millions a year and over $1 million in profit. Like, who wouldn't want to just buy this? But the fact of the matter is, nobody, when they were talking to some investment bankers, they didn't want to buy the company because basically it was just, they would have to take over everything, because basically the two brothers were basically just doing everything. They were doing customer service, they were doing, the marketing, they were just running everything. So it's like, if someone was going to buy the company, it's like they're taking over all these jobs, and to them, they view that as a risk. So then they basically embarked on this journey to build up the brand and build it to sell, essentially. So basically, they launched on Kickstarter. They started getting into retail a little bit. And really the turning point is they knew they needed a management team in order to kind of build up a team and everything. So the turning point was them bringing on management, hiring a CEO in 2018, because it was just so painful for them. They started hiring employees, and then basically they hired this guy, John Maris. And he was basically their 7th employee. And they basically hired him as CEO. What's interesting too is this guy here, they apparently just messaged him on LinkedIn, and they're just like, we heard you're a growth guy. Do you want to kind of have a chat and just kind of meet each other and see if there's any opportunity? He didn't even know that they were going to offer him like a CEO position or anything. He just, was kind of interested in the brand. It was local. They're in Dallas, Texas. And that's kind of just, they kind of met essentially and did all that. And so long story short, they ended up hiring this guy as CEO, and it was just an absolute rocket ship. And one of the biggest reasons why they hired him too is because he didn't even have any e-commerce experience, which is just crazy, but he was just a growth guy. Apparently he was just a sales guy. He basically, he started off in door-to-door sales, and then he just did sales in a bunch of different, sectors and all that kind of stuff. He was doing, basically retail sales and then B2B sales and all kind of stuff. Then he eventually worked his way up to like a sales executive, and he was managing and building teams. So he already had a bunch of experience with that. That's why they wanted to hire him, because he just had a bunch of experience managing and building teams, and they knew that was what it was going to take essentially. And so they basically brought on this guy, and then you can see here, 2018, when this guy joined, they were doing about 8 to 9 million in revenue, and basically it's just an absolute just rocket ship. After that, basically he grew it to about 350 million a year in revenue, and then in 2021, and then they basically acquired 5 other brands. So you can see here the revenue, 2018, 2019, 2020, they did over 100 million, and then 2021, because that's when they acquired the other brands, the revenue shot up to over 400 million. But you can see here, basically, just in 2021, Soul Stove is doing about 300 million a year in revenue, just shy of that, 3 years ago at this point, which is absolutely crazy. And now you can see here and then they ended up taking it public. You can see here basically their total revenue last year, I think 2022 or 2023, 526 million and almost 67 million in EBITDA. So basically profit. So $67 million in profit a year, which obviously could be even higher, but they're still in a huge growth phase. They could easily just probably be doing, even probably over 100 million in profit if they really wanted to. And what's interesting is that they're actually 85% revenue is D2C, and 15% is brick and mortar. So it's actually majority, direct consumer, e-commerce, which is super, super interesting. And what I found very, very interesting is when I saw an interview from John, what he mentioned is that about half of their revenue online comes from word of mouth, and referrals, which I found that super fascinating. So basically, he basically mentioned 50% is online from word of mouth, and basically they know from the reason why they know is because from surveys, and then about 40% is repeat, customers coming back second, third, fourth time. Now there's a couple of factors why they are able to do this is because they actually do an NPS survey with every single customer. So a net promoter score with every customer, and any customer that rates them less than a 7, they literally hop on the phone with each customer. And then that rating ends up being over 10 by the end of the call. So overall, they have an 82 NPS score. So the customers just love the brand. They're just so customer obsessed, kind of like a similar Amazon mindset. Essentially, they just care so much about the customers. And that's like a big, big factor for them basically being able to have such a high word of mouth rate, which is so fascinating, and it makes it so much more profitable, and it also just makes it a compounding vehicle. And it just, I find that very, very fascinating how much it's just been word of mouth, which is super, super interesting. And then he did mention on the marketing side, they have about a 4.5 to 5 LTV to CAC ratio. So basically what that means is, the customer acquisition cost to basically the LTV of the customer. So say for instance, for easy math, they spend $10 on marketing. The LTV, what the customer ends up being worth, is about $50 or 45 to $50. So if you spend 100,000, they end up being worth 450 to 500,000, and then their gross margin is about 80%. So they only need about a 1.2 minimum, to beat that to in order for them to, in order to be profitable essentially. So they're just wildly profitable. Their marketing, high repeat customer rate, high referral rate too. So it's just an incredible business. Very, very well run. And then basically the brands that they acquired, you can see here at the bottom, is these 5 brands here: Terraflame, Chubbies, our Kayak, Isle Paddleboards, Ice Breezy. They really looked at, brands that are not only outdoor brands, fit the mold, high value, all that sort of stuff, higher AOV, but also, have an amazing customer experience. That was really, really big on their philosophy, which I find super, super interesting. And basically, he said that, they had one of the people they look up to is Steve Jobs or John did looked up to Steve Jobs and how they kind of created just innovative products that just people didn't even know they wanted. But he's like, we're the exact opposite. Like every single product we've asked our customers and they've like basically recommended they wanted. They asked for the product. So it was very much opposite end of the spectrum, just giving, people what they want, essentially just asking what they want and giving it to them. So I found that super, super interesting. Now, coming back really quick to these two guys, they basically, now that they have a CEO, they also got a CFO, that has like private equity experience. And then basically now they have like a warehouse, they got an office, they're growing nicely, they're in a bit of retail, and now they start getting some bigger and bigger offers. It ended up being 8-figure offer and mid 8-figure offer. And the next thing you know, they get a 9-figure offer for the brand, from a VC firm essentially. And these guys are freaking out. Apparently the Spencer guy was saying he was sweating so much. They'd basically come in, it'd be a few weeks of meetings. They'd have like a dinner the night before, and then they go in, and then they have to present, basically the whole company and all kind of stuff to all these different VC companies. And he said it was just insanely stressful. He's like sweating like crazy, and he had to buy some antiperspirant just because he was sweating so much, because he figured this is our big chance to, this is our moment to be able to sell it. And then they ended up selling for majority share for low 9 figures. I don't know exactly how much it was, but probably 100, 150, 200 million, right around there. But they sold majority of their shares for low 9 figures. And what ended up happening is obviously they're just growing like crazy, and the growth is just insane. And then ended up getting another mid 9-figure offer, basically from another PE firm at the end of 2020. So you can see here, obviously in 2020, they were on pace for doing over 100 million a year. And so, they got another mid 9-figure offer. And so they took more chips off the table, which is super, super interesting. And then they ended up so now they're basically just completely out of operations. And it's just, super, super interesting. So crazy, crazy story. And just an absolute rocket ship, and just the compounding effect of just making really good decisions and putting one foot in front of the other. All right, up next, like I was saying, kind of want to talk about just their site, CRO principles that they follow. They're just a very, very, very good brand and site to follow and kind of model off of. If you have like a higher AOV, I'd say 150, 200, 300, 400, 500, to even $1,000. Kind of product line, and just having like following their kind of model in terms of how they structure their product pages, how they go about all of it, and all that good stuff. I think it's really, really good, kind of product page stuff model. So you can see here, just based off their site alone, right now, their US site is getting about 3 million visits a month, which is insane. I'd guess their revenue per session is about $5. So they're probably doing about $150 million just off their site alone, not including their other brands, not including Amazon, and all that good stuff. Probably even more, to be honest. I mean, they're doing overall 526 million a year, so probably even more. So, but let's get into it. So what I like to always do is always check the product pages and their main, their main go-to. So you can see your Bonfire 2.0. This is like, 24,000 reviews. This is their SKU that, sells the most. So let's take a look at this page here. So first thing you'll notice is their images and video is just very, 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 very high quality. So you can see here, they have a nice white background image. They have a nice lifestyle video right there. And then a ton of different lifestyle imagery, different angles of the products and everything. And overall, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 7 photos and 1 video. And it's very lifestyle, very lifestyle imagery and just very, very high quality. Images in e-commerce is so crucial. You want to make sure you nail that. Because at the end of the day, with retail, you can actually touch, feel, look at the product. With e-commerce, you're literally going off of like photos, maybe a bit of video and description and everything. So, and reviews essentially. So it's so crucial to nail these photos. You can see every photo it really matters, the way every detail, with the people they have in there, with their target audience. You don't see like a 20-year-old person in there. It's all very like, kind of middle-aged people, homeowners for the most part, that they're really, really going after. And then you can notice they have like a nice little intro description here, which is awesome. The add to cart button stands out really, really nicely. They got the reviews, all that on there really nicely. I like how they have these 3 icons, lifetime product warranty, free shipping over $99, and the free 30-day returns. They talk about what's included, and then they get into the features. So they kind of, have it on this little sidebar. Thing is, a lot of product brand owners, they always want to go off about all their features because they made the product, they know all the intricacies and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, they're not buying it because the height's 14 inches. You know what I mean? Like it's nice to know, but like they're buying it for the experience and like just the benefits and how this. And I'll get to all that in a second. But the whole vibe. That's really, really what they're buying it for. Not like this kind of stuff. It's nice to know, of course. But, it's not something you want to have like as a main thing on your description and everything. And then also something I always harp on is having your return policy and everything and your shipping information right on the page here. You do not want them having to leave. Because the thing is, if you're buying something online, you're going to want to know, how long is this going to take? What's the shipping, what's the return policy if I'm not happy with it, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to have that right there on the page. That way it's just, they're not searching for it, going off into another page. You want them seeing everything there that they need to know if they want to know it. If they're kind of curious about that, and then being able to, add to cart and then just go, ahead and check out. They have the bundling option right here, which I really, really like. Being able to, bump up that AOV really nicely. They have a 33-second video as well too, that really just kind of, encapsulate, just really just showcases the product really, really well. It's a great video. And then this here, I really like this section here where they have they have basically 5 different, they have 6 different benefits, and then they have photos that kind of encapsulate that main benefit. So you can see smokeless, you can see there's no smoke around the fire. Portable, it's getting carried around, very easy to move around. Removable ash pan, you can see they're removing the ash pan right there. The high heat ceramic coating, metallic flake, and then long lasting. I think they before had a photo where it was very like late at night and stuff like that, which all night, it's just going all night. So that's something to note there. More accessories, and then this is really cool too. Well, not cool, but I think a requirement. Especially for a product like this, is having a frequently asked questions page, because you do not want them having to go off and email and go to support chat. Then it's just, you basically losing the customer. You want to have all their questions answered really, really nicely, and then they even have a view more here, so they answer even more. But they probably prioritize the top 6 questions that if I go view less, they probably the top 5 questions are right there. Then they have the view more right there, and then of course reviews, and then they're actually image reviews as well too. So you can actually see the ones with images, videos, all that sort of stuff as well, and the nice little clean footer. So overall, a very, very great product page. Checks all the boxes. I think a lot of these things. And then the last thing I want to touch on too is they also have a support chat. So in the bottom right hand corner, you can click on this little orange icon here, and it pulls up a support chat that you can just chat with live chat right now, and get help and answer questions live right away. And then after you click the add to cart button, the cart is really, really nice. They have a nice little free shipping progress bar that you can see here. Congrats, you're eligible for free shipping. They have that there. Everything else is pretty standard. And then, yeah, being referred by a friend, they have that on there. And then, yeah, shipping is free. And then they also have these saved there. So pretty standard, add to cart, and then very standard checkout section. Just, yeah, nothing too crazy on there. They don't have like reviews on there. It's just very, very clean cut, very straightforward. All right, so up next, I want to talk about their marketing as well, because their marketing is obviously phenomenal, and they execute really, really well on it. So their main selling points really is that obviously the biggest thing for sure is, and you'll see constantly in their most viewed ads, which I'll get to in a moment, is just the smokeless aspect. Obviously if you're making a fire pit and you're camping or you're just outside, it's just there's so much smoke and it's just it's a bit of a pain, but this is just the way they've engineered it and built it, and they have a patent around it, is the smokeless element to it. Portability, so very, very easy to carry around, and also very easy to use. And just kind of turn on. So people who just don't even know how to light a fire can just easily just turn it on. Very, very easy. And also the lifetime guarantee, which is, a lot of trust in their product as well too. So before we get into this, I'm just going to quickly cover over their ad library, because you see here they're running 520 ads. And then at a certain point too, you do want to actually scale internationally as well, because, obviously they, big piece of their revenue is in the US, but you can see here they go off to the UK, they have German ads, they have Austria, Canada as well, all that sort of stuff too for all their brands. So they internationally expand out, and they adjust the language for them. But really, really nice ads. They got a bunch of really nice videos. What I've noticed here, they've actually been running this a nice little offer. So you can see here they had a nice little offer ads, $280 off. They're basically with this bundle here that they're offering. They also had another offer that they're running as well. To just basically try to get email signups. So the Backyard Blitz sweepstakes. So went over $3,000 in prizes from Solo Stove, and then they basically partner with other brands, and they're basically sending over to a page to collect a bunch of emails, essentially. So really, really cool there to kind of get a bunch of emails and just start building customer base like that. But in terms of their ads, really, really awesome there, because a lot of offer ads. But in terms of, hooking a lot of new people in, I like how they're, testing a bunch of different, statics, the fire pit that reinvented fire. We didn't invent fire, we defeated smoke. I like this little static here as well, where it's almost like a little Google search feature here, where you can see here, it says fire pit, for a smokeless burn that's easy to light and maintain with portable design. Kind of a cool little concept there. They got review ones. They got kind of this one here where they have the benefits and the icons there with one main headline and the logo on there as well. No smoke, no joke. I like their little taglines and their captions, playing around their different main marketing, selling points. So yeah, look at this, taste the s'mores, not the smoke. So really hitting another, that main angle. You can see they have us versus them. So they just got great D2C marketing. Everything's on brand, really well done there. So honestly, really, really love their marketing. And they're basically testing out different ad formats, carousel, they have static, they have video. So really getting use out of all the different aspects there. I like this little message here, burn now, pay later, as well too. So that's a really good marketing message as well too. So yeah, they're doing an awesome job. And then also what they did as well is they actually got a partnership with Snoop Dogg, which is a very interesting angle, and I'll show you the one of the best ads that they had with that. So lastly, let's go ahead and cover their 3 most viewed ads that they've had. So this one here, almost 3.4 million views. Let's check this one out. So yeah, very, very clean video. And once again, it just kind of hits that kind of pain point where it's like, it's just loaded with smoke. And then boom, within 3 seconds, they show Solo Stove just smokeless, beautiful fire, really, really nice flame, no smoke. They go again, and then they show halfway in between, like, look at the difference there. Like, this is just a bunch of smoke. This is a really nice fire, more flame, and then less smoke is a really big thing. And then I like how they just ended off cleanly with the logo at the end. Let's check this other one here, 30 seconds. So once again, really, really nice ad. I like this one as well too. This one's more focused on the benefits. You know, hey, introducing the product, the benefits. They're talking about the, you know, premium grade steel, the airflow design. What I really like too is I like this part here, the easy to light, like I was talking about. It's just easy to do, and I like how they just show the three different just how easy it is. Like just put a little bit of fire, you know, wood in there, and just very easy to light, and you're not like just, you know, struggling to get a fire started. So, you know, it's easy to light. It's a smokeless, just a really good product that people love, and it just, you know, really, and just great marketing with it as well too, which is awesome to see. Last one. We got to end it off. Got to go big. We got Snoop Dogg here, and let's see what he had in store for their you know, almost $2 million or $2 million. Well, probably more to be honest. 2 million view video. Let's check it out.
I have an announcement. I'm giving up smoke. I know what you're thinking. Snoop, smoke is kind of your whole thing, but I'm done with it. Done with the coughing and my clothes smelling all sticky icky. I'm going smokeless. Solo stove fixed fire. They took out the smoke. Clever.
Oh, he loves it. So what I love about this one here is just their hook right at the beginning, where he says,
I'm giving up smoke.
Yeah, like within 3 seconds, he's like, I got an announcement to make. I'm giving up smoke. And it's like, everyone knows Snoop Dogg. He loves, you know, smoking weed, all kind of stuff. And so it's just like how they hook the people in. I'm giving up smoke. And he's looking down there like, what is this? Like you're drawn in. Like, what do you mean by this? And then all of a sudden you see this fire. And then he's just like, I'm going smokeless. And then you can see this. So it's just like really good. I want to say more brand awareness, brand ad that kind of hooks you in. You know, appeals to new audience demographic that which is why they probably went with Snoop Dogg. So very, very interesting way to go about it. So yeah, that kind of wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the this kind of concept. Let me know if you want me to make more of these videos. I really enjoyed the research on this, you know, diving into it. It was a super, super interesting brand. Like I said, I learned a ton on my end. I already made some notes that we're gonna start adjusting for the brands that we're working with and partner with. And speaking of which, if you have an e-commerce brand yourself that's doing at least $10,000 a month and you're, you know, struggling with growth, you know, acquiring new customers, all that stuff, there's gonna be a link down below. It's gonna take you to a page on our website where there'll be a video that kind of talks about a service a little bit more and allows you to schedule an appointment with yours truly to see if there's an opportunity to help you out. I don't care if you click on it or not, but it is there if you are struggling with growing your brand. But other than that, drop a thumbs up on the video, drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this, you know, this video, any questions that you have that maybe I didn't touch on this. I didn't include everything from the research because there was a lot. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Cheers for watching. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next one.